Hello, welcome back. And today I am going to reveal to you what is actually inside of my medicine cabinet and what's worth it. Like, what's worth the time, what's worth the money, what's worth actually having a space in your home and in your body for vibrant midlife health. And this is coming from someone who honestly, before perimenopause entered the scene, actually didn't really take anything. I am not someone who has loved taking vitamins, like loved taking supplements. I hate things that have a taste or a texture or that I have to eat food with or that just cost a ton of money and I'm not really sure if it's actually doing anything. So for me, supplements just really didn't make it into my regime before entering into my 40s. And my desire in sharing what's in my medicine cabinet with you isn't so much to encourage you to buy these products or to jump on the supplement bandwagon. It's more like maybe an older friend just kind of opening up her purse or opening up her medicine cabinet and saying, "Hey, this is what's worked for me. This is what's in my closet. This is what's in my purse. This is what's in my medicine cabinet." And you might get a few clues about either one, what might work for you, or two, will just kind of destigmatize the need to invest in ourselves and our health in different and new ways as we age and as we change. And I don't know about you, but the algorithm and targeted ads coming my way all have something to do with perimenopause, all have something to do with midlife, and all have something to do with this like health maxing trend that I'm seeing online. And that's absolutely not what the purpose of this episode is. It's not about health maxing. It's more about understanding what our bodies could benefit from a little bit of extra support from outside of getting good sleep, getting exercise, and eating a balanced diet. Just what I have learned helps to give me kind of a really even mood, sustained energy, and actually better quality sleep and kind of healthier body composition as my brain and body change in the wild and wacky West that is the 40th decade. My hope is that this is just genuine, useful information for you. And maybe if nothing else, you'll be entertained by the before and after of Kara in her, you know, before 40s, how she was taking care of her body in this way, and Kara into her 40th decade and what it's looking like over here. So this is how a pill or a supplement or a medication has actually entered the threshold of my medicine cabinet. It had to go past two critical tests. So the first critical test is it really has to not be a weird texture or bother me in any way or be like a chore or a pain. So number one, it couldn't be disgusting or inconvenient. And then number two, I had to actually feel the benefits of whatever it was I was putting into my body. So not just in general, I know that it's a good thing to do, but actually I can tell in my brain or my mood or my energy or my physical body, I want to know, I want to miss it. I want to know that it is serving a purpose because I can really feel the benefits in relatively real time. So all of these things have kind of met that criteria. Okay, let's start with the supplements that I'm taking. And number one, because they don't require prescription, so they're easy for anybody to get if you feel so inspired. And number two, because it was actually the thing that I was most avoidant and hesitant to bring in. As I've already overshared, I'm just not a pill and powders and potions like person. It's just not my thing. But over the last 5 years, I've been using these supplements like day in and day out really consistently. And so they like kind of pass the test and deserve to be on this podcast. So number one, first thing that I use as a supplement is a high quality protein supplement. In the Vibrant Mom Collective, we talk a lot about vibrant midlife nutrition, and I'm sure you're hearing all about the protein and how much protein we need to get as women in midlife. But I really do think that getting most of your protein through food is the way to go. But to kind of get over the hump and like really get the amount that we're needing for mood, cognition, and muscle preservation, and for a healthy kind of weight balance and optimal metabolic health, we do usually need a little bit of help. So I really like this protein powder. It doesn't matter to me which protein powder you use, but the Momentous Whey Protein Isolate is amazing. And what I like about it, and this is really important, my criteria, is that it is unflavored. So I literally can't taste it, and it dissolves completely. So there's no gritty, grainy texture. And the way that I bring this into my diet is I do what Dr. Stacy Sims has taught me, which is use it in protein coffee. So my first cup of coffee every morning is just hot and exactly the way I like it from my amazing espresso machine. And then my second cup of coffee in the day is protein coffee. For free on my Vibrant Mom toolkit, which is linked below. You can get my recipes for protein coffee if you're interested. So you can definitely get my recipe. I make cashew milk. I add espresso to it. I add a scoop of my protein powder. I shake it up in a mason jar, add ice, shake it again. And it's the first nutrition that I bring into my body every day. I'm not usually hungry first thing in the morning, and I am learning and practicing how to front load high quality nutrition earlier in the day. So this protein powder is really the first step, and it makes the rest of the day and all of the nutrient dense food that I'm bringing into my body go a lot easier. So protein powder for the win, check. The second supplement that I've been bringing into my life is creatine. This is also Momentous creatine. Any creatine would probably be just fine. I just like the Momentous brand. And this is really all about cognition and muscle, preserving, protecting muscle, and improving my mind, my cognition, my executive functioning, my memory. And there's some like kind of newer emerging research around the positive effects of creatine on mood and depression in particular. So this is one that I think is really good for kind of long-term health. Now, this is one that I have the most mixed feelings about of all the supplements I'm going to give you. And it's not because of its benefits. Its benefits are solid, but it's because of its texture. So I don't love how this creatine powder retains just like a little bit of a gritty texture. I am, as you probably guessed, super sensitive and picky about this stuff. So what I usually do, rather than add it to something I'm drinking or rather than add it to a smoothie or anything like that, I just put a tiny bit of orange juice into a glass, give my scoop of protein powder, mix it up, and just like shoot it. Just like bring it down the hatch, and it's done. Momentous actually has like a creatine chew. Like, I don't know if it's a gummy or a little chewy vitamin supplement, but that one might be better for me based off of my pickiness around texture and taste. But this is what I have now. I have like a million jars of it because my husband and I both accidentally subscribed to creatine, and now we have a crazy backlog of creatine at our house. So we're going to be working our way through this. Oh, and I'm wondering if you're wanting the dosage. So for women in midlife, 3 to 5 grams of creatine is generally the recommended dose. And then for the protein powder, it's just whatever is on the jar. But 3 to 5 grams for the creatine. And if you find that the creatine makes you a little bit gassy or bloated or just like giving you a little bit of GI upset, I recommend introducing it much more slowly than just jumping into the full 5 gram scoop. So maybe start with 1 gram, just like every day, and slowly let your body adjust to the introduction of the supplement in your system. Okay, now for anxiety, for energy, for an even mood, and for sleep. So other than protecting my just overall brain health, muscle health, and kind of emotional health, which is with the protein and the creatine, I go even more specific for my health. And so my health requires a little bit more support for stress and to protect my sleep. So that's why I'm adding in these additional supplements. And actually, the number one supplement that I find most women that I talk to would benefit from the most is something that supports mood and stress and sleep. I'm not unique in that category, and that would be with magnesium glycinate. There are a few different types of magnesium. You are welcome to experiment with all of them. I have experimented with all of them. And the glycinate version is the one that I find to be most effective for me. And the most common way that I take it is actually in this supplement. It's called Sleep, and it's by Pause Nutrition. I'm not affiliated with Pause Nutrition in any way. This is Dr. Mary Claire Haver's company, and I'm a huge fan of her work. So I was curious about what she had created. And this sleep supplement brings magnesium and L-theanine, and then a little bit of melatonin. I think she calls it a whisper of melatonin. But I do find that getting the magnesium and the L-theanine together just on a daily basis is really helpful for just the overall feeling of like balanced energy, dealing with the stressors of life with a little bit more kind of resilience and tolerance. And then especially for the nights that I can tell I'm a little tired and wired. That's a recipe for an unsettled night of sleep for me, that just like a whisper of melatonin can be really helpful. And then also, before I discovered that sleep supplement, I also have just like regular L-theanine and regular magnesium just on their own from Momentous, since it's my supplement brand of choice. You can also just get them separately. And when I consulted with my menopause doctor, Dr. Heather Hirsch, she gave me the recommendations for the quantities for my own health, which ends up being just what the bottle recommends, both for L-theanine and for that magnesium glycinate. So even if you're not consulting with a doctor, most likely you'll just be able to follow it as recommended from the bottle. Now, I have heard anecdotally that some people don't love the L-theanine, that it gives them like really vivid dreams. I haven't noticed that myself, and I wouldn't hesitate to just take the magnesium glycinate on its own. So, summary for me, this is again in my medicine cabinet, so it's right for my body. Everybody's body in medicine cabinet is different and should be different. If I were only going to take one supplement, it would be that magnesium glycinate. And it's the one that I would recommend that you layer on first. If you're looking to kind of rejudge or revamp your supplement regime, start with that magnesium glycinate and see how it helps you. See, it helps you with stress, resilience, with mood, and with kind of creating like a little bit of a relaxation response before bedtime. If you're a girly like me who has like a little bit more of that perimenopause sleep disruption, you might just want to skip that glycinate on its own and go into that full kind of combo glycinate, L-theanine, and whisper of a melatonin supplement. I think one of the reasons, honestly, why I like that sleep supplement that combines the three is that I don't want to be taking like 3 of one pill and 2 of another. And then if I'm having a hard sleep night, another like other melatonin supplement that might be a little bit higher melatonin than I feel like I actually want or need if it's a tricky sleep night. So I kind of just like taking like one, I'm not a multi-pill person. So just having the one supplement just, I think, kind of works a little bit better for me. And I like that the pill supplements that I'm bringing in with the magnesium, the L-theanine, and the melatonin when I need it. I like that I'm taking those at night so I don't have any stomach upset with it. I've eaten my food all day long, so I feel like it's just something that I've associated with like my wind down routine and a good night's sleep. So that's really like, I'm definitely going to take that. I'm not going to miss out on a good night's sleep. And then the other two supplements, the creatine and the protein, I always take in the mornings. And I've kind of associated them with like nourishing and nurturing myself. As a mom, our mornings are usually wrapped up with getting ourselves and our kids and our work lives and our home lives ready for whatever it is that we're facing in the gauntlet of activity that day. And so bringing in some vital nutrition within the first hour of my waking hour of the day, it symbolizes to me like this relationship with my body, my relationship with myself, like it's taking center stage. I'm not just going to get like dressed and look good and get my kids all ready for the day and everything they really need to have a thriving day and then neglect what I need for a thriving day. I think so much of like a woman's getting ready routine is socialized around like appearing a certain way to do whatever she's doing that day. And I love letting this like protein coffee and then breakfast with my creatine OJ shot symbolizing like I'm bringing things in to nourish me in a deep way on the inside, getting myself ready, like emotionally, physically for the day. And of course, like I get dressed in my work clothes and, do my hair and makeup in a way that appeals to me, but it's less appearance focused from the beginning. It's more like nutrient dense, um, almost like emotional, relational nourishment coming to the table here for me. And these supplements are the bookends to most days, as long as I'm not losing track, but pretty much every day. And the reason why I don't often lose track and it's pretty much every day is because I can feel the difference. If I don't have enough nutrition in the morning, I can feel the difference in my focus and my energy and the way that my brain's working and in a slightly more increased reactivity. I'm a little bit more agitated, a little more picky, a little bit more worried or stressed about things than if I have adequate nutrition in the morning. So I'm not going to miss those morning supplements. They really help me to feel well, feel like my best self, and have the best cognition I can. My job requires a really sharp, really creative brain. And so I get to support my brain and body really well in the mornings. And then, as I've said before, at night, I'm going to take some variation of that magnesium as well as maybe a few extras with the L-theanine and the melatonin, because when I don't, I do notice a difference in my ability to kind of wind down, put projects that are pending, which I always have pending projects in my life, put those to rest in my mind and not think about them anymore, and then really settle down for a high quality sleep. So those supplements help with those things for me. So I don't miss them because I'll be laying in bed being like, why am I not really like drifting off? And I'm like, oh yeah, because I forgot. It's like a running joke between Brent and I, my husband, and maybe you listened to our podcast last week, but that I'll like lay down and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like up going back or like reaching for my bedside table because I like forgot to take my supplements or my medications that like are essential for a good night's sleep for me. So it's a joke that like, how could I forget that? I literally won't forget it because my body won't let me. I really appreciate having access to those resources, both the supplements and then also the other components of my medicine cabinet that I'm about to reveal to you right now. I'm so grateful I have access to them because they really impact directly my experience on a day-to-day basis. Okay, now this is the fun stuff. Now I'm bringing in my whole HRT regimen. And this is by popular request. I have women either entering their 40s, wondering if they're in early perimenopause, or women like for sure in perimenopause, just try to figure out what it is that they're wanting to do to support themselves. I have women asking me all the time, like, well, what do you take? And what dose and how long have you been taking it and has it changed? And so I feel like this is just like reveal behind the scenes. This isn't medical advice for you. It's just letting you know what my journey has been, what's worked for me, and might give you some inspiration to get your own hormone specialist that can help you with what would be right for your body. And if you haven't yet made contact with a provider that is expertly trained in perimenopause, I'll make sure to link in the show notes below my favorite directory, clinicians who have been trained by my doctor, Dr. Heather Hirsch. So that might be helpful for you if you're still looking to find a provider that is able to help you with your own hormone replacement journey. Okay, so in no particular order, actually, I'm going to amend that. I'm going to give you it in the order that I introduced it into my body. How about that? So the first thing that I would recommend, or that I use for myself, I'd recommend you figure out if any of these would be helpful for you, is I use an estradiol transdermal patch. And my dosage for this has, of course, changed as I've gone through many different years of perimenopause. You should expect your dose to change over time. And what's so cool, if you do a hormone stacking method where you introduce only one or two at a time, and then you get used to what it does in your body, you know which hormone helps you with what perimenopause symptom, and then you can tweak or just go up or down on one of the hormones at a time. You just really know what your body likes and what it needs, and you can start to track for yourself as your hormones are fluctuating and declining. You can start to look for your own signs of when it might need to shift or change. So estradiol transdermal patch, and right now I'm on the 0.10 dose. I started, I think 4 years ago on the 0.050 and did well there for a little while, and then thought I might need to go up to 0.075. Tried that, felt like it was too high, came back on the 0.050 for a little while, and then eventually went back to the 0.075, hung out there for like a year and a half probably. And then maybe a year and a half ago, switched to the 0.1. And I've been really happy and feeling good there ever since. And I expect that I might need to go up a little bit in my estrogen as I move into late perimenopause, or I might start to go down. And so a crucial thing that you'll notice if you're working with a really skilled healthcare provider is that they will tell you and help you identify your signs for needing more estrogen in your body. And they will tell you signs when estrogen is too high in your body. So you can kind of be monitoring yourself, getting guidance from them, and adjusting your dosage accordingly. There are many kind of protective, preventative health benefits on neurology, on your cardiovascular system, on pretty much every system of the body. So taking estrogen has many protective kind of longitudinal health benefits just to improve the health span. But for me, the benefits of estrogen really have to do with kind of anxiety, energy, mood, sleep, and keeping my body temperature regulated and keeping my brain and concentration and kind of that brain fog element well supported. Now, I started taking that first because I already had a Mirena IUD that supports and protects my uterus. There's a little bit of, I think it's progesterone. Someone will have to correct me and let me know, but I know there's a little bit of that progesterone hormonal element in the Mirena. So my uterus is protected. If you have a uterus, you can't take estrogen alone. You do need to take progesterone with it, or the progestin that's in the Mirena will protect your uterus. So I started with the estrogen, and it helped significantly. My sleep was improved almost overnight with it. However, to really get me to most nights sleeping really, really well and feeling just a little bit more tolerant, a little bit more resilient, a little less preoccupied or indecisive or overthinking things, which were new things to me when perimenopause came into the room, so to speak. Progesterone ended up being really helpful for me. So I take 100 to 200 milligrams, 1 or 2 capsules of progesterone a day. I take it at night. It's like my nighttime fall asleep. So in my body, estrogen kind of helps me stay asleep, but the progesterone is really what helps me to fall asleep, which is my main sleep challenge. And so I take 1 or 2, just depending on, now I'm so in touch with kind of the hormone fluctuations. I can tell if I'm a little bit more in that tired and wired place, I'll take 2. If I'm feeling just a little bit more even, a little bit good, I'll take 1, and I take it every night. I didn't say this about the duo of estrogen and progesterone, but the estrogen, the patch, you take this twice a week. And so you just got to pick your weeks. And that's like maybe this is the one that like the benefits are clear, but it's a little bit more of a pain from my like needing everything to be low maintenance in my life kind of preference. So this one the patch took me the longest to get used to, because it does require you to remember what day it is and change it and put it on your body. But like all things, you can get used to it once you develop your own systems and routines for it. Um, Maybe normal people would just set an alarm. I'm not like that. I don't like setting timers and alarms. I'm hyper scheduled as it is. So I've just kind of learned Mondays and Thursdays. You can think of me on Mondays and Thursdays changing my estrogen patch. And if you're totally new to the patch, it's really easy. You just like peel it up. It's like a Band-Aid. You stick it on your stomach and let it hang out there. I have a hot tub. I swim. I'm active. It doesn't really bother me at all. Just stays on, and then I peel it out. I haven't heard anyone else talking about this, but maybe this is the like oversharing of personal information episode. But the one complaint I have about the patch, and maybe it's because it's like I'm pretty active, I don't really know, but I feel like it just gets this like dirt ring around it. And then when I peel it off, there's like a little bit of like dirty, like sticky stuff that I have to either scratch off or like use some rubbing alcohol to come off. That's my biggest complaint. Anyone else get like a dirt ring around their estrogen patch? Please direct message me and let me know that I'm not just the dirty person with their estrogen patch. Okay, so there's 2 more hormone replacement tools that I have in my medicine cabinet, and they're both in little tubes. In order of how I've introduced them, welcome in testosterone. So this is a testosterone tube. If I would have thought about it, I would have like written down like all the details of all of these supplements, but I didn't. So this is a little more casual, a little less medical, just letting you know what I do and why I do it. If you're interested in me doing a little bit of a synthesis on what kind of the medical menopause society recommendations are for hormones, happy to do that. You just let me know if you want it. But this is the one hormone that my insurance, and I don't think anybody's insurance is going to cover. And that's because testosterone is not yet FDA approved for women. And I know there's a lot of amazing women and male doctors working really hard with the current administration to try to update their policy on how important testosterone is for women's health. But we're kind of midstream in how the science and the data is actually impacting policy. But the good news is that progesterone and that estrogen that I take, it doesn't need to be in a compounding pharmacy. It can be easily prescribed by a knowledgeable provider, and it should be covered by your insurance with maybe whatever your copay is. So much more affordable than you would think, and kind of a lifesaver for many women whose brains and bodies are undergoing kind of a radical transformation in midlife. But the testosterone, I'll let your doctor prescribe it to you, but basically you get this big tube. A man would put this whole tube on their body. You're not going to do that. You're going to put like a pea-sized amount. You're just going to squeeze out a little pea-sized amount on your finger and you rub it to the upper inner thigh. And I just go kind of back and forth on my thighs. And I haven't noticed like any skin changes, any adverse effects. And so it just like dries almost immediately. And this has helped me so much with my brain fog, with my memory, and with just feeling like myself, like feeling like I've got energy to like unload the dishwasher, just do all the life stuff, work in a demanding kind of high power job, and then feel like I have a little bit of libido, some like stamina, some like energy for my sex life, but also just for like my home life when I get home. So I love testosterone. It's been a really helpful tool for me. The one little complaint I have about testosterone is that once it becomes it's not if it's once it becomes FDA approved for women, the dosing will be a little bit more standardized. They'll probably do like a pump system or something like that. And that way, you know, you're getting the exact same dose of testosterone every day. And right now it's just like, you know, what looks like a pea to like beans, like mini lima bean sized amount. It's not that precise. And I can tell when I've gone a little bit higher because one of the signs of having too much testosterone in your body is like you'll start to break out a little bit. So if my skin just looks like a little, like it's maybe going to get a blemish, that's like a sign for me. Oh, you just got to dose it a little bit smaller. But I haven't noticed any other negative signs. So for me and testosterone, we work really well together. Okay, and the final hormone to like make it into my midlife medicine cabinet is the estradiol vaginal cream. So this one is actually one that most women start with, either because it's what their doctor is most comfortable prescribing or because it's the one they're most comfortable receiving. It is something that doesn't go systemic into your body. It's just locally applied, and the benefits of the estrogen just stay local, which is not a benefit if you want your entire system to benefit from estrogen. But if you're just wanting to keep the estrogen in the vagina and surrounding areas, then this is your ticket. And it is so cheap and it is so effective. And the way that I'm using it is a little bit as an intervention, but mostly preventative. So the intervention that I use this for is actually first and foremost, one of the weirdest perimenopause symptoms that I have is itchy, kind of dry ears. And this was one of the first perimenopause symptoms I came up with. And I like went to dermatologists, like tried all of these different creams and potions and, you know, dermatitis stuff, and none of it cleared it up. And then guess what? Just a little bit of like a pea-sized amount of vaginal estrogen cream on the ear canal. And it really helps that dry, itchy ear situation that I have. So I use it for that. You can also use this cosmetically. Again, not medical advice. This is just like girls talking shop. You can put like a little bit on kind of your outer eyes or wherever you're getting fine wrinkles. It might kind of help with the appearance of your skin. But then also, maybe I'm just kind of like a dry person, and as estrogen is leaving my body and my skin is adjusting to this, but I've just noticed like the skin tissue around my kind of vaginal and anal area just feels kind of drier and itchier. Just came onto the scene like 6 months ago. Yay to being 45. But this helps so much. I just like put it on my finger, just rub it on like all of the skin, and it helps with that dryness. It's just like applying lotion. It just keeps my skin really happy and healthy down there. But also this is really, really good for the tissue and the outer and inner folds. It will really help your vagina and surrounding areas to be healthy, maintain elasticity, maintain sensitivity. Like we want that sensitivity to be maintained in the clitoris and, just all of our vaginal health. We want that to be really, really strong. And for friends that I have who are more sensitive to getting UTIs, that can increase in perimenopause. So this is like really helpful for preventing UTI reoccurrence. So this is how I understand it. Your doctor may have a different opinion about it. I really recommend that you seek your own medical advice and get your doctor's take on things. And I do want to encourage you that if your doctor is saying, like, let's just check your labs and see where you're at and say, oh, your labs look good, you're not in perimenopause, that's contrary to my understanding of the Menopause Society advice for how we treat perimenopause. You can't take a blood test to let you know that you're in perimenopause. It might be very likely that your hormone levels look normal, but that doesn't mean that they aren't actually radically fluctuating and that your symptoms wouldn't indicate that you are in need of some hormonal support. So this is why I recommend you branch out of your OB or primary care provider if you're wondering if they're giving you the most up-to-date, most competent advice when it comes to hormonal health, especially in perimenopause. So you don't need to chase every new protocol that's out there or every new influencer recommended supplement. We're sold so much information as women, like from eye creams to face serums to skin firming lotions to anti-aging supplements. Like this episode is to me like women kind of reclaiming their own agency, not just being sold and marketed to for vanity or health maxing reasons, but to really notice, what does my brain and body need as I age, as I change, to expect the aging process to represent some change, and to be endlessly curious and endlessly generous with yourself. If this is like a Colorado girl thing, women listening from other places, you'll have to let me know. But I think that there's a idea that to be really attractive as a woman, you need to be low maintenance and effortlessly beautiful, but also not too low maintenance. You should take care of yourself and do all of the things so that you look really good, but you make it look effortless. And I think that the invitation in midlife is for women to be letting go of old narratives that aren't serving them well and that are meant for somebody else's gain, and instead seeing your body as the one relationship that you're going to have your whole life, and that your body is here to be with you and help you mentally, emotionally, spiritually even, that you're on this journey together. And so as your body's needs change, your willingness to listen, to attend, and to support that change can be a wonderful gift you give to the partnership, you and your body. If you've made it all the way to the end of this episode, as always, thank you so much for listening. Let me know what items we have overlapping in our medicine cabinets, and I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are about your own aging and changing process and the things that have helped you to feel your best as you're moving through this amazing decade of your 40s. Hope you have a great week, and I can't wait for our next conversation.